Hello there, hello there, hello there. Welcome, one and all. How are we all? I'm very well. Thank you for asking. Now, today I'm going to be doing a bit more of a serious video explaining why I'm voting Remain in the EU referendum.
How are we all?
And I've left the thing on. That's a good professional start, as always. Still running a smooth operation here at Logan. Anyway, yeah, yesterday I did a bit of a silly video, the hashtag cats against Brexit thing, which I'll link that below. Yeah, some people contacted me saying, well, but why are you voting Remain, Kev? They didn't do it in that voice because that's not how people speak. But, you know, they contacted me. So I thought I'd give you a few more of my sort of why I'm voting for Remain type thing, because apparently some people were mildly interested. And by the way, for those outside the UK, whatever, who don't know about the EU referendum, you're tough as shit. I'm not explaining it all to you. You either know about it or you fucking don't, people. Anyway, so basically, my reasons, right? It's mainly economic, right, for a start. Okay, I think the economic argument has been won very conclusively for remaining in the EU rather than leaving. Now, that's not to say that I think we'd crumble into the sea or anything silly like that if we left the EU. I think we'd be fine. We're a nation of hardworking, uh, creative, resilient people. We'd be fine in the end. It's just that, I mean, this fucking referendum's already cost us a fortune in investment because, quite rightly, what business owner or what investor is going to invest money in a nation that a few months down the line you don't know what the the rules of play are going to be. You don't know where the field's going to be at all because you don't know if you're going to be in Europe or out of Europe and what the rules are going to be and all of that. So they've basically held off any investment, and I think that would continue because it would take years to renegotiate all of our treaties with people, and would we have access to the single market or not, and if so, under what rules, and all of that. So it would cost a fortune. It would cost a fortune. Yeah. It's been said that it's 3 million jobs directly linked, but actually I think it would be significantly more than that because of the huge knock-on impact. If 3 million people were to be made unemployed, or even half that number, that would have a massive, massive knock-on effect to all of the businesses that surround that because it's interconnected, isn't it? No, if you just take out one section of industry or whatever, it doesn't immediately have no impact on all the industries around it. So I think it'd be a massive problem there. One of the things that has annoyed me, actually, and the thing that seems to have gone unchecked, especially because those making the arguments on a national scale are part of the political establishment, is that this idea of the EU being undemocratic and somehow the British system being democratic. Um, it's it's not. I don't see that the British system is more democratic, particularly, really. Our head of state isn't elected. Our upper chamber of parliament isn't elected, and never has been. The huge disparity in the way in which MPs are elected. I don't like UKIP, but they got, was it 3.8, 3.9 million votes in the last general election, and that translated into one member of parliament. That's a joke. That's not democratic at all. Well, it's democratic in the sense that there's a democratic process and the people have their say and all of that, but it's not as if we're absolutely squeaky clean. And not just that, but I don't trust those on the other side, so to speak. And again, the other side, I don't like that kind of terminology, but you know what I mean. I don't like the in campaign. I don't trust the in campaigns people when they talk about democracy in that way, because people like Farage, the leader of UKIP, who will be reappearing in this video again, the UKIP have argued that they want to strengthen the monarchy and the House of Lords, again, entirely unelected individuals and bodies there. So I really don't see that the democratic, undemocratic argument is really one that the in-campaign should really be pushing in quite that way, because the political establishment should come out and say, well, actually, we need to reform the undemocratic shit here. Otherwise, what are we doing? We're elected. You're basically saying it's fine that we're ruled by undemocratic institutions here, but not from Brussels, because that's the basic xenophobia of it there outlined. One of the reasons I'm very pro Europe, I'm not necessarily massively pro EU because I think it does have its undemocratic elements, of course, and it is a little bit corrupt. Let's be fucking honest. Um, is the fact that actually the institution has kept peace in Europe since the Second World War, basically, or near enough, since the 50s, which, given the span of time and the countries involved, is almost unthinkable. Um, and that's not to be sneered at. For however much money we spend on the EU, it's worth every penny 10 times over to keep us from soaking Flanders fields with the blood of another generation. I really don't think that's a small point that's unworthy. And it's a point that rarely gets brought up, which seems strange to me. Considering the nations involved and the span of time, it's absolutely. There can't have been a time throughout history where that level of peace between those nations has been kept since humans have occupied these lands. It seems amazing to me that no one even really wants to bring that up, but I think it's true. Another problem that I have actually is the slightly one-sided nature of this Project Fear thing. The In campaign have tried to say that the Leave campaign have been doing Project Fear, and whilst that's true, it's also hypocritical because the In campaign, sorry, the In cam, hang on, the Leave campaign have tried to say that the Remain campaign have done Project Fear, used fear to try and get votes, and yes, that's true, but it's also hypocritical because the Leave campaign have done that as well, comparing the EU to Hitler. And actually, Michael Gove did this the same thing again yesterday with this going on about the Nazis, or say equating them to the in campaign to Nazis, which is pretty fucking disgusting and inaccurate for the most part, especially because even though obviously not all Leave campaigners or Leave voters are Nazis, I assure you all the Nazis will be voting for us to leave. Not all of them are racists, but all racists will be voting to leave. I can assure you of that. And there's a perfectly understandable reason for that, because the bigotry, the fucking sheer naked bigotry from the Leave campaign has been really, really quite remarkable. They've just pushed the immigration thing all the time. And obviously it was culminated with the breaking point poster from Nigel Farage and UKIP, which was eerily similar to Nazi propaganda, ironically. Yeah, it really was very. There was a fantastic meme put about literally contrasting a scene from I think it was The Eternal Jew, the Nazi propaganda film, and the actual poster, the breaking point poster, and they were very, very similar. And of course, the fact that came on the heels it was released on the same day, that poster, wasn't it? That Joe Cox was killed when a man literally reached his breaking point clearly and killed an MP. And the fact that Farage didn't want to dissociate himself from that and basically said, "Oh, it was just a matter of timing." Oh, so it's fine if an MP had been killed 2 days before or 2 days after, that poster somehow would have lost it's symbolic fucking evil, and I use that word absolutely deliberately. I think it is evil. It's not just the fact that it's racist as fuck. It's that it's playing into that fear. It's playing into the hatred and the fear that ultimately drove what happened in Leeds. So I really fucking don't like that. And also, on a slightly less serious, but still pretty serious actually, point, the Leave campaigners, the kind of the top team of the Leave campaigners, are fucking cunts. And that's not to say there aren't cunts on the Remain side, because there absolutely are. You've got obviously the Prime Minister David Cameron and the Chancellor of the Exchequer George Osborne, absolute scumbags. So I'm not saying it's perfect on either side, but the Leave campaigners are just, I mean, look at them, just a cavalcade of cuntery. Just fucking Farage and Boris Johnson, fucking Michael Gove. Oh God, oh what a scumbag. Even the sort of quote unquote left wing Actually, no, I'm not going. I'm going to take the quotes away from it. The left wing people on the Leave side are bankers. You've got, was it John Mann? It's just a bit of a twat, isn't he? I like Gisela Stewart. To be fair, I do like Gisela Stewart. And oh, fucking George Galloway. Jesus Christ Almighty! Just his career is strewn with defense of terrorists. He loves defending terrorists. He's worked for the fucking the propaganda arm of both the Iranian government and now the Russian government to dictatorships there. And of course, verbally sucked the cock of Saddam Hussein. So yeah, not a pleasant chap. And whilst you shouldn't just focus on the personalities involved, I think I've given you certainly some of the policy stuff and some of the reasons why I think it's a good thing to remain in Europe. Generally speaking, when you see one side that's full, absolutely packed to the rafters with racists, bigots, and cunts, and the other side, which yes has some cunts, but generally speaking, most of the people you get along with and generally tend to agree with, it really is a no-brainer, it seems to me. And whilst this debate has created some really awkward bedfellows on both sides, let's be honest, I think vote to remain, I think, is the only option for me, and for, I think, hopefully the majority of people, but for the people who are interested in economic stability, because the economic instability that would be caused by Leave would be, I think, pretty fucking severe, certainly in the short term, and would be pretty fucked up in the long term, it seems to me. So that's why I'm voting to remain, and I hope that you do too. Anyway, thank you all for listening and watching. I'd be really, really genuinely interested to hear what you all have to say on this one. The vote is tomorrow, actually, as I'm recording and uploading this. So, yeah, we shall see. Pip, pip.